You'll never feel anger again after listening to this. Have you ever been overwhelmed by anger to the extent that you lost control? Today, we're going to delve deep into our hearts and minds to discuss something incredibly vital: how to stop harboring anger towards life. Throughout our lives, various events may leave us frustrated, disappointed, or even furious. These challenging moments test our resilience and can make us feel as though we have failed. Yet, it is precisely during these critical times that we have the chance to grow and evolve. Understanding that feeling angry at life is not a permanent condition, but a natural response to the hurdles we face is essential. Overcoming these negative emotions and discovering inner tranquility is crucial for our mental well-being and personal growth. We're here today to guide you on this path of transformation and self-discovery. We have carefully curated wise and inspiring words to help you reflect, clear your mind, and shift your perspective. Our hope is that these insightful and comforting words will illuminate your path toward acceptance, forgiveness, and gratitude. If you despise someone, that person has already triumphed over you. True strength lies in resisting the urge to succumb to anger. Over time, we realize that anger is not worth our energy. It isolates us and makes us feel alone. Reacting impulsively out of anger invariably leads to failure. Indeed, anger is one of the most destructive emotions we can hold in our hearts, while patience serves as our greatest shield. No one can hurt you unless you permit it. When we believe we are injured, we position ourselves as victims. Storms of anger only amplify tears of sadness. Instead of viewing anger as an adversary to conquer, we should approach it with love, kindness, and peace. Those who easily become irritated often demonstrate poor management of their emotional resources, squandering not only time, but also energy and attention. I choose to love the world in some way at all times, rather than despising it. Nothing can harm me unless I allow it. I refuse to be diminished by allowing anger to dominate me. Hatred is a blatant and public display of an inferiority complex. The insults we endure reveal more about those who deliver them than about ourselves. Truly understanding individuals rarely succumb to anger. Those who pride themselves on their anger actually fail to comprehend it. Anger is like an acid that corrodes the container it's held in more than anything it's poured upon. Harming an opponent lowers us to their level, whereas retaliating places us on the same rung, but forgiving elevates us. Every minute spent in anger is a minute of happiness lost. Before embarking on a journey of revenge, bear in mind that only one letter separates anger from danger. When you feel the urge to judge someone out of anger, remember that you should metaphorically dig two graves. Don't despise your enemies. It only diminishes your intellect. Don't waste your thoughts on people you dislike. Being upset is not mandatory. Anger clouds judgment. You can choose whether to feel hurt or not. Often it's shattered dreams that provoke anger in us. When we are weak, we tend to lash out fiercely. Silence is the best response when angry because regret lasts far longer than the fleeting moment of rage. Ultimately, you are the first person harmed by your own anger. When provoked, resist the urge to mirror the person who upset you. Consider the repercussions before reacting. Those who get angry easily often find themselves in a state of inner turmoil. Anger clouds our judgment. Embrace nature's pace and take the time you need. Hating someone often harms you more than the person you detest. Remember, you are defeated by those who manage to provoke your anger. Instead of condemning what you despise, champion what you cherish. You have choices: succumb, seethe, or strive for something better. Rather than reacting with fury, step back with a smile. Sometimes those who dislike you are merely confused admirers who wish they could emulate you. Anger can flare up so rapidly we barely notice its onset. Daily practice in detachment, mindfulness, and composure can diminish your reactive tendencies. Recognize that you are composed of elements far stronger and more sacred than fleeting emotions. Filling your life with love can dissolve negative feelings such as anger, guilt, and resentment. We all experience negative thoughts and emotions, but we don't have to act on them. The primary victim of your anger is often yourself. It's important to acknowledge our anger, learn to smile at it, and make peace with it. By recognizing your anger, you gain the power to diminish its intensity. Holding grudges is not only pointless, but also harmful. Wise individuals let go, while the foolish cling to their grievances. Dwelling on past anger prevents you from loving in the present. Confronting your negative emotions with awareness strengthens positive feelings and weakens the negative ones. Trying to suppress your feelings only leads to more anguish. Sometimes, you can even learn from those you dislike. Before responding to provocations, question the necessity of your reaction. Minor annoyances tend to dissipate if we ignore them. When angry, avoid making significant decisions. Recognize that anger clouds judgment and often leads to choices that conflict with long-term interests. Instead of letting anger guide you, let appreciation for beauty take the lead. Accept the imperfections in life and understand that perceived problems often stem from within. Avoid going to bed angry. Fight to stay awake when furious. Words spoken in anger are frequently regretted. Anger often acts as a shield for underlying sadness. Circumstances themselves should not have the power to anger us. They are indifferent. It's revealing how some conflicts arise simply because people lack better engagements. It's amusing how some assume you hate them when they rarely cross your mind. When anger surges, take a moment to count to 4. Often, anger stems from the discrepancy between reality and our ideals. Anger and resentment that linger without clear origin indicate that those who want to remain angry will always find a reason. Being consumed by anger is not a sign of strength, but a demonstration of vulnerability. Even when you are right, it doesn't protect you from the pitfalls of anger. Sometimes it's merely a trap laid by others. Embracing anger doesn't solve problems, it exacerbates them. We tend to remember insults more vividly than kindnesses, and the outcomes of our anger are usually worse than the provocations that incited them. Anger, often seen as a right of the strong and a concession to the virtuous, can ironically become a means for the vulnerable to inflict harm upon themselves. The ease with which someone takes offense often correlates inversely with their intelligence. Indeed, hatred intensifies as one strays further from the truth. Succumbing to anger is tantamount to forsaking wisdom. For instance, to truly comprehend the roots of your anger, refrain from judging it hastily. Trust in the passage of time. Obstacles often cloud our foresight. Certain issues trouble us excessively, prematurely, or unnecessarily. The wisest individuals concern themselves with everything, but choose their battles wisely, aware of their finite time and energy. The less one understands, the more likely they are to harbor resentment towards others, while remaining complacently ignorant of their own flaws. When the outcomes of anger surpass the intensity of the emotion itself, it becomes clear that although anger and aggression might seem protective by injecting energy into a situation, this energy lacks direction. Anger blinds us from viewing matters from multiple perspectives. To maintain a clear mind, one must remain tranquil. While anger might momentarily enhance our appeal to others, it ultimately conceals our true selves. When anger strikes, focus on resolving issues rather than blaming individuals. Work towards solutions, not justifications. Although initially the angry may falter, they often prevail in prolonged struggles. Freedom belongs to the virtuous, irrespective of their circumstances, while the malevolent remain enslaved, regardless of their power. When you sense anger brewing, concentrate on your breathing. Anger is a tempest that rises from the depths of your being. Silence is golden. Delay your response when irate, and if your fury escalates, count to 100. Disdain towards someone grants them power over you. I choose to embrace the world despite its flaws. Hatred is far too simple. Anger, I find, is a futile emotion that squanders feelings. Acting in anger often leads to complications. A furious man rides a reckless horse, and one who disputes frequently seldom retains good friends. Anger isolates us in a fleeting madness, poisoning our system. Actions born of anger are invariably doomed. Danger lurks just a letter away from anger. If you're angered without just cause, recognize that the worst adversary is anger itself, and the best strategy is maintaining composure. Remember, only you can permit others to harm you. You wound yourself the moment you perceive yourself as injured. Anger is not essential. Life's irritations are inevitable, but our responses define us. I opt for serenity. No external force can impact you without your consent. A truth spoken without composure becomes an overstatement. Anger negates freedom, obscuring clarity. When anger emerges, observe it briefly, then let it pass. If irritation stirs, recall that it breeds inner turmoil and confusion, potentially leading to prolonged sorrow. Should you react angrily, you might only end up hurting yourself, like kicking a stone in frustration. Raising your voice in anger doesn't enhance your ability to connect with others. People will shy away if anger or discontent constantly surrounds you. Resist the urge to get angry today. Recognize that our annoyances with others can enlighten us about ourselves. An insult reflects more about the insulter's feelings than the recipient's character. Losing hope can sometimes extinguish our anger, suggesting that a bit more self-love might eradicate our hostilities and resentments. Stay calm. Choices made in anger are seldom wise. When overtaken by anger, count to 4. Anger seldom serves us well. Wise individuals rarely display anger, recognizing that losing their temper in public is akin to pollution. It reveals more about their vulnerabilities than their strengths. Anger, akin to temporary madness, must be controlled before it assumes control. Often, unbridled anger does us more harm than the initial cause of our irritation. Mastery of meditation brings tranquility, likening the mind to a steady flame in a windless space. In such silence, the self becomes apparent, and deep meditation allows a seeker to experience profound peace and joy, leading to enduring happiness that transcends sensory experiences. In life, it is essential to remain authentic. Engage in work purely for the sake of action, without attachment to the outcomes, and never let desire or laziness sway you. Keeping your focus on the ultimate truth aids in maintaining calm, especially when outcomes are uncertain. Work done calmly and without attachment to results is far superior to that done in anxious anticipation of them. Love, anger, and greed. These three are portals to downfall. Eliminating them opens the path to the highest achievements and salvation. Our beliefs shape us. We embody what we hold to be true. Detachment is key to finding both comfort and spiritual insight. Those fixated on the fruits of their labor often find themselves mired in dissatisfaction. Embrace today fully. Life's essence is encapsulated in its fleeting moments. The joys of growth, the grandeur of action, and the beauty of existence are all integral to making the most of the present, transforming it into a foundation of future hope. Focusing on the present is the essence of true redemption each morning. When the soul contemplates the self, it finds joy in service and peace in self-rest. Achieving detachment from the results of one's actions and offering them up leads to liberation from sin, much like water droplets on a lotus leaf remain unaffected by the water. In all conditions, whether in comfort or discomfort, honor or disgrace, those who manage to keep their composure and maintain devotion to their higher purpose exhibit true strength. Work towards personal progress and never undervalue your potential. The self is both an ally and an adversary. It is near yet far, within yet beyond, and subtly complex. Recognize the self as the creator, sustainer and destroyer within, the luminous entity in the darkness, the essence of wisdom. Anger clouds judgment, leading to delusion and loss of reason, which in turn causes a downfall. Endurance is a challenging virtue to master, yet crucial for those who wish to prevail. Ultimately, the measure of a person's virtue is seen not in grand gestures, but in their everyday actions: brotherly love, kindness, justice, charity, and concern for others. A clear mind is also evident in one's ability to be content with solitude, reflecting on the self without distraction. Being able to choose one thought over another is a powerful tool for managing stress. I've learned to speak only when I am confident that my words will improve upon the silence. Hellenistic schools of thought, while diverse, share a common belief that true knowledge leads to a state of complete mental peace. Philosophy, therefore, is not just academic, it's a practical tool for addressing life's dilemmas. The Cynics challenge social norms and conventions. The Epicureans critique the pursuit of superficial pleasures. The Stoics warn against self-interest and sensory indulgence, and the skeptics question the very basis of our beliefs. Despite their differences, all these schools, influenced directly or indirectly by Socrates, converge on the idea that unhappiness, suffering, and wrongdoing stem from ignorance. They argue that things in themselves are not inherently bad. Rather, it is our judgment of them that leads to trouble. These philosophical approaches are therapeutic, aiming to heal by transforming our value judgments. True wealth can be found in the simplicity, patience, and kindness of our daily actions and thoughts. Patience with both friends and foes, returning to the essence of things, accepting the world as it is, and practicing self-kindness can bring peace not just to oneself, but to all beings. Taoism, particularly, teaches the art of existing harmoniously in the world by embracing the moment when the divine and the natural world intersect. The present moment is a vast infinity, where the principle of relativity thrives, urging everything to evolve. Change is the essence of life, and mastering it requires continuous adaptation. Find joy in the current state of things and satisfaction in what you already possess. Once you realize you have everything you need, the world truly becomes yours. Your perceptions, what you see, hear, and think, should be governed by your own senses and thoughts, not dictated by others. If you don't allow your senses and mind the freedom to operate independently, you're infringing upon their rights. Restrictions on your ability to think, feel, or act naturally can damage both body and mind. As you nurture your aspirations, be mindful of what you feed them. Watering your dreams with worry and fear will only cultivate weeds that threaten to choke them. However, if you nourish them with hope and solutions, they will flourish into achievements. Always strive to transform challenges into opportunities for success, and support your dreams with consistent actions. Remember, true strength is always accompanied by kindness. If you fight too strenuously, it may overwhelm you. In essence, a strong person recognizes when to exert force and when to relent. Your fortune or misfortune hinges on how and when you choose to yield. The least capable individuals are those who haven't learned to endure hardships. Sometimes, all we can do is manage our troubles, waiting for a brighter tomorrow. It's crucial to identify and remove the root cause of issues. Acknowledging our ignorance is a virtue, whereas being oblivious to our actual knowledge is a detriment. Intelligence involves understanding others, but wisdom truly lies in knowing oneself. Controlling others may show strength, but mastering yourself is the epitome of power. A rigid tree will snap. To battle is to perish, but to surrender is to find life. An empire should trust only those who are indifferent to its affairs. Deep down, you are aware of your true self and desires. Life brings natural and unexpected changes. Resisting them only breeds unhappiness. Accept reality as it is and allow events to unfold naturally. Kind words can uplift spirits, profound thoughts provoke introspection, and acts of kindness foster love among people. Once a person harbors a thought, it spawns endless ideas, obstructing direct learning and true understanding. Describing the Tao is akin to trapping wind in a box. Once sealed, the wind ceases to move, turning into mere still air. A wise traveler sets no fixed goals and focuses not on destinations but on experiences. Respect comes naturally when you are content with being yourself, without striving for superiority. Envy and desire for others' possessions lead to dissatisfaction with one's own life. The stakes change your gameplay. Trivial stakes allow skillful play, but higher stakes bring tension and loss of composure. When your peace of mind is disrupted, success in any endeavor becomes unattainable. A person with inner courage lives a life of authenticity, unaffected by external praise or criticism. Such individuals maintain tranquility, regardless of societal judgments. Endeavors built solely for profit crumble under adversity and threat. Keep your thoughts simple and your heart filled with grand aspirations. Fulfill your duties without imposing personal views. In doing so, the world finds its balance. A hefty beam may breach a city wall, but is ineffective for repairing a minor gap. This illustrates the importance of recognizing different functions. Courageous individuals remain fearless of danger, whether at home or exiled, consistently expressing their true thoughts. Similarly, true philosophy seeks no external validation or achievement, for doing so would contradict its very essence. For instance, wood is the material builders use, and metal is the medium favored by artists, while the art of living skillfully manipulates the fabric of our lives. To live contentedly, it's wise to heed the insights and readings from thoughtful philosophers. We should seek their practical wisdom and noble advice that can be readily applied to our daily experiences, avoiding outdated or convoluted expressions, not relying on metaphors or intricate literary devices, but transforming words into actions. Nobody disappoints more than those who study philosophy merely as a trade and then fail to embody the principles they espouse. The essence of your experiences matters less than the manner in which you navigate them. You could choose to end your life right now. Let this urgency guide what you do, say, and think. It's crucial to distinguish and separate the aspects of life you can control from those you cannot, focusing not on uncontrollable external forces, but on the choices you actively make. Often our fears are amplified by rumors rather than reality, causing us to suffer more in our imaginations than in actuality. Mastery of the world begins with self-control. Constantly rehashing problems tends to magnify them. Remember, your domain is your thoughts, not external events. Grasping this truth fortifies you against adversity. Avoid wrongdoing and falsehood. Be as open with your adversaries as you would with yourself, shedding any misconceptions of who you think you are to truly understand yourself. A virtuous person prioritizes honesty over public opinion. Since we have 2 ears and only 1 mouth, we should listen more than we speak. What seems to obstruct your path can often pave the way forward. Make no promise that you cannot keep, and understand that not everyone can afford the luxury of anger. Refrain from speaking in anger to avoid irreversible regrets. When I feel anger, I focus on progress and address the issues, not the individuals involved. Stop making excuses and start crafting solutions. Anger and laughter are mutually exclusive. Choosing one often negates the other. If harnessed constructively, anger isn't necessarily negative, but remember, harboring anger is detrimental. It corrodes from within. Hatred is mistakenly seen as a weapon against those who wrong us, but in reality, it is a self-inflicted wound. Each outburst diminishes us, and like acid, anger can damage the vessel it inhabits more than anything it is directed towards. A sour mood can quickly undermine your dignity. Every minute spent in anger costs you 60 seconds of peace. Friendship and reconciliation are impossible with clenched fists. Choose love over anger, hope over fear, and optimism over sorrow. Anger, like a gusty wind, can extinguish the light of reason in the mind. The troubles caused by your anger often arise not because it provokes others, but because stirring anger is its primary function. An angry individual should not rage over controllable or uncontrollable aspects alike. In my own life, acting on anger and hatred has often led to the very outcomes I most feared, such as losing friends and relying on those I've wronged. Hatred, anger, and fear often lead to darkness because they originate from the same source as a certain kind of love, one that's incredibly sweet and difficult to resist. Instead of yielding to anger, consider shedding tears. Crying can heal the heart and soul, whereas anger often wounds others. Many perceive anger as a strong emotion, yet believe one should always remain joyful. True authenticity acknowledges the necessity of experiencing the full spectrum of emotions, the whole piano, representing the complete human experience. It's normal to feel sad, hurt, and angry at times. Soulful anger, the kind that's deep and visceral, can indeed be useful. Embedded in our DNA, anger helps us survive, but it can also cause harm, even when justified. Remember, an angry person's words and what triggers their anger can reveal much about their character. When people are engulfed by anger, they tend to generate nothing but more anger. We could stoke a fire of rage today that might burn for decades, leading to destruction, possibly ending with our demise. Choosing to remain overly critical even when justified means allowing the errors of others to impact your well-being. However, do not fret over the future. You are equipped with the same well-considered tools that you use to manage the present. Adversities affect everyone. Even the intelligent and capable might suffer physical injuries, illnesses, lose loved ones, or witness their nations ravaged by war. Sensitivity to these hardships doesn't imply weakness. It's not advisable to endure situations that feel intolerable. A fool's mind reacts differently from a wise person's. A fool sees visions as truly terrifying, allowing these perceptions to solidify and control his reactions. In contrast, a wise person might momentarily feel unsettled, but quickly regains their original perspective, recognizing that such visions are not as fearsome as they appear and should not dictate fear. Consider life as akin to warfare, requiring guards, scouts, and frontline soldiers. Life's a prolonged struggle with many facets. Just like a soldier, being vigilant means fulfilling duties as dictated by circumstances, not merely for a brief stint, but for a lifetime. Your life unfolds more smoothly when you don't force events, but rather let them occur naturally. Distinguishing between what is within your control and what isn't remains crucial. This discernment helps you focus on where to seek good and evil within yourself, through your choices, rather than in external, uncontrollable circumstances. Embrace virtue for its own sake, without being swayed by fear or hope. How do you define doing well? True goodness lies within our control, guided by general principles about the nature of the world and how people ought to conduct themselves. Even divine entities appreciate when we use our reasoning correctly. Focus only on what you can influence, letting go of what you cannot. Often it's not the events themselves that disturb us, but our perceptions of them. Imagine someone who grows up without proper guidance, quick to blame others when things go awry. Yet if they only learn to blame themselves, the outcome remains the same. Blame continues to spread. If someone isn't taught to blame themselves or others, they'll rise above those accusations. Furthermore, if a person lacks clarity about their identity, purpose, the nature of the world, and the distinction between good and evil, beauty and ugliness, or truth and falsehoods, they'll struggle to use reason to guide their desires and actions. Essentially, they'll be somewhat lost in life. Personally, I strive to change what is within my reach and accept what is beyond my control. This approach brings me incredible peace of mind. I've discovered that my joy depends solely on me, and frankly, that's liberating. Every action I take reflects a virtue. And you know what else? Events that occur no longer bother me. I control my reactions and live in alignment with my beliefs and what I consider right. Wisdom is my ally in making decisions and choices, turning obstacles into opportunities for learning and growth. Happiness, I've learned, only comes through the constant practice of virtue. Every day, I dedicate myself to being more disciplined, to appreciating the simple things, and to being grateful for them. I don't let negative feelings dominate. Learning to let go of material possessions is also part of my journey. My peace of mind is unshakable. The present is what truly matters. Accepting and adapting to life's flow of changes strengthens me. When something doesn't go as planned, I find the strength to move forward. I set aside worries about what is beyond my control. My happiness isn't tied to others' opinions. I live in harmony with nature and its cycles, using self-analysis as a tool for personal growth. My compass in life is honesty and integrity. Resilience helps me overcome losses, and humility is a virtue I cultivate daily. Finding beauty in life's simplicities and in nature, seeking balance, maintaining calm in the face of uncertainties, and embracing life as it comes are my mantras. My mind and spirit are my greatest strengths. Reason guides my actions and choices, freeing me from unnecessary worries. The past does not hold me back. I fully live in the present, aware that death is a natural part of life, which supports me in times of adversity. Stoicism teaches me to value simple things, to focus on self-awareness, and to practice gratitude, transforming my perspective of the world. The pursuit of virtue is a continuous path of self-improvement, acceptance, and transformation. Wisdom and compassion are my companions, guiding me along a path of justice, equity, and serenity amidst life's constant changes. This is an invitation to look inward, to recognize our desires and emotions, and to take responsibility for our actions. It is a reminder that true strength arises in challenging moments, and that inner peace is our most precious asset. Living with integrity, practicing self-discipline, and finding beauty in the simplicity of life are the pillars that sustain a virtuous and fulfilling existence. Thank you for watching, and hey, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. See you in the next video.